Hello everyone, my name is Pradyumna Bhinda and I will be hosting today's session. Welcome to another insightful session of Degrees and Beyond. Today we will have the privilege of hosting Mr. Ajay Panwar, a distinguished senior counsel at Mastercard and a leading expert in intellectual property rights across global jurisdictions including Europe, US, Japan, Korea, China and Australia. With a mechanical engineering degree and a law degree from the University of Delhi and a diploma in competition law from NLU Delhi, Mr. Pawar is also a registered patent agent. He has worked with General Electric, Elsam, and is now in Mastercard, specializing in IP practices, licensing, and technology transfer agreements. Join us as we deep dive into the fascinating career and explore the evolving world of intellectual property and emerging technologies. Sir, if you could please gaze the audience's attention towards what IP law generally is.
IP is basically the intellectual property, which is basically is to protect the creation of human mind and intelligence. And there are various types of intellectual property. So we start with the patent, where we protect the technical problems which are protected by technical solution, and we protect them by patents. Then followed by the copyright, where all the expression of the work is protected, of the literary work, or you can say the computer programs, music recordings, sound recordings, drawings, etc. That is all protected by the copyright. Then the word and logos and marks to identify the source of the origin of the product and services is protected by the trademarks. Then we have the aesthetic looks, basically the color combination, the line combinations, and the outside aesthetic looks are protected by the industrial design. Then we have the to protect the rights of the communities for which are growing a particular product. Basically, our GI is there to geographical indication, followed by the semiconductor chips are protected by the Semiconductor Act, and then basically we have the another form of IP which is we call it trade secret is there. So this is the overall phenomenon of families or different types of IPs there.
Sir, what I want to know is how was your interest developed into this field and how did you start practicing in this industry? What was your gate to start?
So basically, as my first degree is in mechanical engineering, and over the period of time, since my family background is having is having a lot of lawyers, so I always have a family, you can say, interest in law. But since my first degree is in mechanical engineering, so when I taken the admission in a law school, say in Delhi University North Campus, there I found out in my fifth semester that there is optional subject of intellectual property, and then I started reading it there, and then my professor who taught us this subject has guided me to this new field. Then I changed from my engineering background into this IP field there, and luckily I got my first break with Lal Larry and Luthra there. Mr. Lal is there, my first mentor. I'm thankful to him for giving me a chance. From there I started my career. I started into looking into the industrial design, gradually moves into the patents and then trademarks, other facets, and I learned there a lot of things like prosecution of patent, trademarks, and then even filing oppositions in patents and trademarks, and even some litigation related to the patents ultimately there. So I started my career from there.
So some of our students on the audience member, they're interested in IPR. What educational background or qualifications would you recommend them to have before stepping into the industry?
Yeah, in IP, since for patent agent, the requirement under the Indian Patent Act is that you should have a bachelor's degree in science, so to become the patent agent. So for that, I think that one should have a bachelor's degree in science. It can be BSc or BTech or any other equivalent bachelor degree in science, and then person can become a patent agent. And then of course later on the person can, after doing the law, can become a patent attorney. For trademark and copyright, any degree from a law school where a person can once become a advocate under the Advocates Act is fine enough to start the practice in all other facets. The only requirement of science is in the patent only, and that to that extent. And apart from that, any person who is a registered practitioner as advocate can freely do hearings and all other of activities in any court of law, including patent offices. In case of hearing, they are free to practice.
Sir, so how valuable are the additional certificates or diploma courses in addition to the already having qualifications a person might have?
Since IPR is always a is an optional subject where you have been taught in a one semester, so specialization always helps you because it gives you lot of nuance about the particular subject, and that too from some specialized courses under the universities where the specialized teachers in those particular areas give guidance to the students. So that is always helpful to go them in more depth to understand the subject more precisely. So they are always helpful for the person, not only in understanding, but they also give them lot of idea that what type of activities they have to do if they come into the profession, and what kind of knowledge and information they require they will get from such professional courses.
So, sir, what I am understanding is that the recruiters they would prefer candidate with an engineering degree or a degree with some sort of specialization apart from simply having law.
Yeah, for patent, I can say yes, the technical background gives you a advantage. But of course, if you are going into the litigation, there, having an engineering is an advantage, if I say, but not that too, deemed so important there. But yeah, if you are going into the prosecution and other facet of, especially only the patent in IP, rest all that's not a problem. There, any person with a general law background with specialization in any particular facet, like in copyright or a trademark or a design, can easily do there. But yeah, in case of patent, any science background, for example, if chemical related people, they prefer MSc in chemistry or organic chemistry by specialization. Then the people from the biology background, they prefer the people from the you can say the you can say the bio in botany or in geology or bioinformatics, or you can say biochemistry, all these. And then of course the engineering backgrounds the people have, they have people from electronics background, mechanical, electrical, or even software background. So it's all depend, because it is a very vast field. So those specialization degrees help in understanding the concepts of subject in a much better way, and it is easier for a person to apply the law after understanding the nuances or technicality of that subject.
सर you mentioned कि law schools में generally एक semester से ज़्यादा IPR पे ना focus करा नहीं जाता. So at the time of specializing or let's say having a diploma course in it, what key aspects should a student keep in mind along with just practicing law in general?
हाँ, ये आप ठीक कह रहे हैं कि एक सेमेस्टर में आपको आईपीआर का सारा पढ़ाया जाता है, जिसमें सारे कोर्सेज को, मतलब सारे टाइप ऑफ आईपीज को कवर करने की कोशिश की जाती है. बट उसमें बेसिक्स के बाद आपको अपना इंटरेस्ट देखना है. यू हैव टू सी योर इंटरेस्ट, like which facet of IP is fascinating you. So you can always go and specialization in that particular facet, that somebody feels like I feel the copyright, I have a taste in copyright. Somebody feels like no, I have I have a better taste in trademark, I have a better interest in industrial design. So all depend. And one thing I always say, that lawyers are just like the actors in मुंबई में जो भी आता है वो हीरो ही बनने आता है, लेकिन वो धीरे धीरे अपने आप को चेंज करता है जैसा उसको रोल मिलता जाता है. तो राजपाल यादव भी अमिताभ बच्चन बनने ही आए थे, लेकिन जैसा उन्हें रोल मिला तो वो कॉमेडियन बन गए. तो कोई भी वहां पे वो विलन या कॉमेडियन या करेक्टर रोल करने नहीं आता. हर कोई अमिताभ बच्चन और हीरो बनने आता है, बट जिस तरह का रोल मिलता है वैसा ही पर्सन अपने आप परफॉर्म करने रहता है. वैसे लॉ है, ठीक है, इंटरेस्ट है, लेकिन चांस की बात भी होती है कि आपको किस फीसेट में चांस मिल रहा है, आईपी में भी, या इवन अगर आप कॉर्पोरेट में भी जाएंगे तो वहां पे जहां आपको ज्यादा मतलब काम मिलता जाएगा, लर्निंग मिलती जाएगी, आपका करियर वैसा शेप भी होता जाएगा. तो आई ऑलवेज से कि इट इज ए blend of fortune and the hard work, and of course the direction you choose.
Sir, you mentioned about how is it similar with Bollywood. A question that stems from here is कि किस तरह से job opportunities different है, let's say एक law firm में और एक company में which specializes in IP practices.
The job opportunities, basically the roles are different at different places. This whole the law practice is divided into many facets. Like let me take you from the first. One is the corporate side, where you are working for a one corporate in one side. In the corporate role, basically, as far as IP is concerned, if I say, then you have some few trademarks for that organization which are to be protected, and then you have to choose in which geographies you want to protect them. Similarly, then you have a few people who are doing R&D activity there. Then you have to guide, okay, that what type of R&D, what type of output is coming up, so you have to protect them as a patent there in that terms of, or you have to have so many copyrights, how to protect them accordingly. So then you have to look into the policies of the making the IP policy of that organization. Then you have to look into the strategies, IP strategy, that where what type of strategy is good for this particular organization. There you have you know that is basically, we call it in a kind of a background role, where you prepare that how the invention disclosures will be generated, what type of IP policies which suits or which basically resulted in good quality of invention disclosures, then how you will protect those invention disclosures. Most of them are through patents, and in which geographies you want to, based on the strategy, that in which geographies basically this organization has the businesses, or they are prefer to go there. That is one thing. Then you comes the prosecution part, where generally most of the time few corporate people do that prosecution, but sometimes that prosecution is done by the law firms. There, those been filed in the different patent offices, and all the office actions will be done, and they will be the people in the working in the firms, they basically take care of those prosecutions, and also take care of the opposition if it is received, or it has to be done on the third party. And there from it goes to the a specialized type of firm within the IP firm is the litigation part portion is there, or there are firms which are typically litigation firms, where they specialized in going and taking your matter to the courts. There, if there is a position which has to be it has been decided, but you are not happy, you want to appeal against that, or there is a revocation you want to file, or somebody has filed a revocation, third party has filed a revocation, and you want to protect yourself. So all those matters ultimately leads to the court, and there also they represent the clients, these people, these firms in the courts, and that is another facet here. And one more facet is that there are so many agencies also there, which we don't call them as such the law firms, but they provide you all these searches facilities, or other facilities, provide you all the documents which are required in the litigation, like prior art searches, which they do prior art searches, or do invalidation searches, or all type of claim charts and everything. So that is done by some other organization. So in all variety, there is lot of facets. One is the corporate level jobs in the organization. Then you have law firms which are into the prosecutions. Then you have specialized litigation firms who do the litigation, and of course this organization which you provide you the searches and everything, all these services. So this is the overall domain in which the IP is divided as of now.
Interesting sir. What I want to know now is कि लॉ स्कूल से निकलने के बाद में आपका किस तरह का बैकग्राउंड रहा और किस तरह से आपने अभी प्रेजेंटली कॉर्पोरेट फर्म में जो है आईपी की हाउ इज योर एक्सपीरियंस है व्हाट सॉर्ट ऑफ नेचर ऑफ वर्क डू यू हैव हियर
So basically, when since I got my first chance in the law firm itself, so I went there, and I personally prefer that it is always better to go into the law firm, but it's depend upon person to person. In my personal view, it is always better to go into the law firm first, because there you find variety of work. You will see the work from the scratch, and you are able to go to the till the final work product is delivered. So you can work there in the different aspects there, and get more experienced there accordingly. And you will have many of clients, so many different things, different topics at different stages you are able to learn. So you are able to learn all the nuances, right from dealing with the clients, answering to the clients, moving and taking towards the patent offices, everything. So the foreground work, you do lot of things in the law firms and maybe in the service firms which we earlier mentioned. But of course the background work, the people who are generating this invention disclosure, who are doing these inventions. There you are not interactive because that is done in a corporate environment, in the corporate R&D department. There you have to help these people to generate the good invention disclosures. You have to make the good policies for them which can helpful in generating the invention disclosure. There you can help them, making the good strategies by keeping an eye, like where are the white areas are there. If there is a crowded field, then we should put our effort of R&D in those fields or those areas where still the gaps are there. We can easily develop more, we can develop more patents. We can easily get more patents which are good for us, and where we get the first mover advantage, and can help in capturing the markets for our organization. So that work basically is most of the time were missing. Since I spent some considerable time in the law firms, then I decided to move to do and see this background kind of work also, and able to master that also. So in that sense, in my career, I have seen both the facets of the actionable sense from the law firm side and the background work from the corporate side.
So I'm assuming that you like more of the background work that you do in the corporate side. Next thing, sir, how is the time structure or the how does your day look like an average day in your company?
Yeah, average working is very flexible in our company. We have lot of liberties, we don't have particular time. But yeah, since our company is in more than 180 countries, so the geography is very vast, from say Australia to say Vancouver in Canada. So obviously, if you are dealing with your colleagues who are sitting in Australia, your day will start early. But if you are dealing with your colleagues sitting in Vancouver, or San Francisco in California and US, your day will be a little longer. So it's all depend upon, but we have lot of flexibility in choosing our timings, and going and taking up accordingly, what type, with whom we are interacting with our colleagues. So there are a lot of flexibility for us, but generally, yeah, 8 9 working hours are always there in which we work.
Another question is that what key qualities and skills do the recruiters look for in fresh IP graduates?
Yeah, they basically want to see the understanding, and the what understanding of the subject matter by the new graduate. Of course, the person is very new, but how good the understanding is, and it has to be mixed with the blend of experience. Obviously, it will keep on increasing. Then the awareness, that how much awareness the person has in that particular field at this point of time. Then of course, in the legal field, as you know, communication plays a very important role, that you should have a very communication skill. Of course, whenever you're there, it is a prerequisite conditions to have a very good communication skill. And then of course, you have the facet, like you should be hardworking, and of course expect the unexpected things in law. That is what I will say, that in your law practice, whether you are in the firm or you're in litigation, or even in you are in corporate, always expect the unexpected things, because this is a very, you can say, a domain which is kept on changing. So you will always have to keep yourself, yourself, you have to keep on improving your learnings, your skills every day, because the technology and the needs are also increasing. And whenever you do changes, of course, even if you in a corporate, you change the corporate from one corporate to, for example, from oil and gas, you are going to power generation, to software, to chemical, like that. Same in the practice also, you changes accordingly, that from one type of IP to the another type of IP, but also on the from the technological point of view, you move on. So it's a very dynamic field. So always feel that we want those people who are very susceptible to the changes, who are try willing to learn and try to change them according to the need, because people think that law is not a dynamic subject, but I must say that the law is become a very dynamic, and it's changing very fast, and we need the people who are very adaptable to that.
With adaptability, sir, another question that comes up is a lot of students who want to go into the field, what sort of resume, internships, or experience would you recommend them to have as a prerequisite before even applying? What sort of experience should they have in this?
Yeah, there are not so big, I think so, requirement, because they are still the students. And of course attitude matters a lot, lot of there, I believe. And in my personal view, I always believe that okay, whatever opportunity the people have, in whatever domain, the best thing I always say to the student is never miss an opportunity. That if they, some people think, no, if I go to XYZ firm, or if I will intern with XYZ person only, then I will be. Of course, if you go there, brand values are always supports you, no doubt about that. But if something is not coming the way you want, but then whatever is coming, just take that and start learning it. So of course there is always a difference, but it's also depend upon your attitude, that what and how you are learning it. That also makes a difference. That of course you may not get that opportunity which your other colleague may have, but then when you put everything, your heart and soul there, and you also try to learn the things in a much better way, and you develop your understanding, you develop your logic of understanding and applying the law, then of course you will have also have a good understanding. So first, try to grab each and every opportunity. At this level, try to do lot of different internships. Try to develop your taste and liking, that can I do this work for over a longer period of time? Does it fascinate me? Does it give me satisfaction? Does it give me some interest that tomorrow I can continuously work for long hours if required in this field? Does these subjects attract me? I can put more effort into that. If it is all amalgamating, then of course you can go ahead with this. So I'll say that, as I told you, that of course you have to be like Amitabh Bachchan when you go into the law field there, that whatever comes, maybe you have to pick. I never found, especially the male lawyers, who say that we will never do family matters here. Who will do? But you see nowadays all these diverse and all family courts have set up. So you will find lot of people now. Even the new thing is the sports law. Lot of disputes are arising in the sports. And 4 or 5 years before, there was nothing called sports law. Now you find specialized people doing in sports law also. So it's all depend upon that what is coming up in the market, how people are adapting it, who is getting the first opportunity and moving ahead. So it's all depend upon that. But try to go into all kind of internship which is coming in your way. Try to take some taste there, see what is required, whether it suits your interest, your attitude or not, and then decides and move on.
Brings me to my final question, sir. You mentioned how this technology keeps changing in today's day. And a major part of that changing technology, in my opinion, is AI or artificial intelligence. My question is, sir, how does the IP industry, how does it keep evolving to the evolving technology, especially in relation to AI? Because it forms such a significant part of our day-to-day lives today.
Yeah, AI is basically is affecting, not only the law field or IP field, it is affecting our everybody's life, and it is bringing the change in everybody's life. Now it's up to us that we have to keep on harnessing our skills, that once the AI is come into the picture, what type of skills we more required, what is more needed to be to keep our pace with this. In IP, basically, like you see in the trademark office, lot of searches now done by the AI. So AI searches are maybe much more stronger than, I can say, the human searches, because there is always a element of error in human searches. But AI can do a lot of searches in a very big data in a very small amount of time. So the searches can to be more, more strong and faster. Similarly, lot of people are working in preparing the models which can draft basic draft of the patent application, which is up to now only the forte of the patent attorneys. So now they, with the help of AI, the people are taking that, let's develop some basic draft, and based on that we can improvise and make it much better. And some, in some other, most of the filings and everything, I believe in the future all these datas will be taken and feed up in that forms, will be taken up by the AI basically. So all the paper filing and all that stuff which we are doing nowadays, most of the work will be taken by the AI, which I believe the most thinking part and the new part and the creative part will remain with the humans. So basically how the law will develop, how the law will take its own course. And there's, since the AI is not yet settled whether it will going towards the copyright, more towards the patent, and still the laws are not settled in the different patent offices, new case laws will emerge, governments will come up with the new definitions, the legislatures will make new policy, new laws in their parliament with a view on by keeping the development of the technology. So we all keep on learning and adapting to that, and we have to develop ourselves accordingly to keep sync with the time and the technology.
I understand, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for agreeing for this podcast. One final thing, sir, from the Department of Management from my university, I'd like to give this to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Have a
Thank
good
you.
Thank you.
Yes.